So let's talk about this Knicks and Celtics game in MSG to start the season, second day of the season. Let's talk about it. So, first, I want to talk about the fact that the C's went crazy. You know, First, I want to say, shout out to Jason Tatum. He got 34 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, a block, 4 turnovers. Meanwhile, shooting pretty efficiently. And then I want to shout out Kristaps for dropping 30 points, 8 rebounds, 4 blocks on extremely efficient shooting, right, to win and really, basically win the game for the Celtics with Tatum. I want to say that the Boston was down 4. You know, Actually they were down 6 in the last 3 minutes of the fourth quarter. They had to string together a comeback, and they won the game in the end by 4 points, 108 to 104. And in my opinion, the craziest part about this comeback was seeing how the Celtics are now that they have these 5 players on the roster. If you see the end of it, you can see Drew Holiday and how many people actually touch the basketball and make plays. Like, you see Tatum, as Jaylen Brown is calling for the ball, Drew Holiday gets wide open in the paint and he slips a pass, right? And that basically makes it so that now the Celtics are, down by 4. And you could see them in the game, slowly start stringing together a comeback. Drew Holiday steal, you know, Jalen Brunson steal it back, boom, and then when they get the rebound, when they get the ball, you give it to Tatum, gives it to Drew, and then this team has so many options that you're just left wondering, like, what are they going to do? In the end, Kristaps got fouled in that play, but I just want to say that when I look at this Celtics starting 5, I'm just amazed, because I'm just like, what are they going to do? Like, what is the league going to do against the starting 5? Like, Jaylen Brown was the worst player on the floor this game, He had 11 points, 4 for 11 shooting. He hit none of his threes, and he had 6 rebounds and 5 assists, right? And he was the worst player on the field, and we could see that even through him being good and being able to, piece together even an effective game with the fact that he had 5 assists and 6 rebounds, I want to say that, like, Jaylen Brown, an All NBA caliber player, is right now struggling, right, to like find his offensive position in this lineup, and that's crazy to say. And in my opinion, the C's are just like the perfect starting 5. Obviously, Derek White is the worst player. He's the defense complementary, role player effort, dirty work guy, which you need. Then you have Drew, which is the defensive point guard, playmaker, whatever you want to say. Kristaps, which has quickly become the secondary scorer of this team. Like, he's just been putting buckets in the rim lately, and it just seems like he's always either very open or extremely, contested, which makes it so that either a shooter has a wide open shot or that he just has a free pass to the lane, and he's like 7'4". I want to say that it looked really good in this game, how he played this game and the way that he, moved around. His first points were exciting. And honestly, if we're being 1,000% honest, by the time that he committed that technical foul, that there were 2 fouls, Jalen Brunson and then Kristaps Porzingis on the other end. Kristaps made the free throws, and you could see him, just really be a monumental piece in putting this comeback together. He hit 4 free throws in the last minute, which were 4 points, which they needed to tie the game. It was about like a minute 30 to go, and then Tatum got the ball, and he made a bad pass, and then on the next possession, Kristaps hits a deep 3 just to put them up by 3. So when we really look at this team and we look at the division of the roles, we can see that really the Celtics have become genuinely scary. Something that I do want to say, which is nice, is that Jaylen Brown is actually playing a role. He's not trying to hog the ball. He realizes that there's probably better looks. I will say that he does get the ball passed way too little. He's a great player. He's been open from 3. He was walking around with his hands open. And I will say that for an All-NBA caliber guy, which is the player with the most amount of years on your team currently, it is very disrespectful for, the C's to be treating him like this. But honestly, what can we say? For the Knicks, I want to say this is a monumental fall. Well, they did pretty good in, taking it back from the Celtics and getting them in deficits and stuff. But it's like there was the point where you were up enough points to make it work. Like you were up 4 points. All you needed to do was make some shots. I want to say that Jalen Brunson played like crap this game. He had 15 points with 6 assists and 3 rebounds and 3 steals. It's not bad in terms of what he did. It's just his efficiency was awful. Julius Randle, the same story. He had 7 assists, 11 rebounds, 14 points, but his efficiency awful. RJ Barrett also 24 points, but his efficiency was awful. He got 3 rebounds and 2 assists. Meanwhile, the most efficient players on the floor were Quentin Grimes, and even Mitchell Robinson was struggling as he shot 1 for 4. What I want to say, shout out to Emmanuel quickly. He was the best player on the Knicks this game, but really it just came down to the fact that everyone was shooting so poorly and so inefficiently for the Knicks that they were forced to just put offense together the way that they found it. I do want to say that the reason why I really wanted to talk about this game was because I think that these two teams, especially the season, seeing their opening game, was very important to the outcome of this game. Like with a guy like KP, we saw him score 8, not 8. We saw him score around 9 points in the final, 3 minutes of the game, 9 points. He had 4 free throws, 3, and then he scored in the end. In the end he made the 2 other free throws when they sent him to the line. And in my opinion, it really shows how KP is going to be utilized in this lineup. Obviously, he's big. Obviously, he can shoot. And obviously, it's going to be more difficult to get Jaylen Brown involved when KP takes up all of this attention because of his size and his skill and how he's been playing. But in my opinion, they will make it work. They're the C's. They normally tend to figure stuff out. I do want to say shout out to Drew Holiday. It's obvious that he already understands his role in this team and that he really wants to, make a difference and really put in some effort to actually be good on, the Celtics. He doesn't want to ball hog. He wants the team to win. But something that I do want to say, and finally, this is my final statement, is if you're the Celtics, you shouldn't even be close to losing this game. Right? I know that it's kind of, like a drawn-out statement, but it's like you're the best team probably in the NBA, not named the Denver Nuggets, Phoenix Suns, or you're probably the number 1 team in the NBA, if we're being honest, just in terms of skill and roster construction. You shouldn't be coming this close to the Knicks. The Knicks are great, and they're probably like a 4th or 5th seed this year, but the fact that your first game you win by 4 points on a monumental comeback, that's crazy in my opinion, and it should be, they should try to, minimize that amount of that type of win, especially from that type of team. Finally, I just want to say shout out to KP for debuting for the Celtics. He had the most points in a Celtics debut with 30. Shout out to all the Celtics guys for winning. Shout out to New York. I know the video was mostly about the Celtics, but New York didn't play that well of a game. I am excited for, Brunson next season. And in my opinion, We got to see more of these games, and I will be reporting on some other ones which I found interesting. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next video.